The American League Championship Series is set. Cal Raleigh and the Mariners clashing with Vladdy and the Blue Jays. Oh, we cannot wait for this series to begin. Game 1 Sunday in Toronto. Set it up. For that, we welcome back former MLB Executive of the Year Jim Bowden and World Series champ Will Middlebrooks. All right, Will, initial thoughts here on the matchup. Mariners and Blue Jays, Game 1 is Sunday.
Well, Toronto's hot. They didn't even with the break. I mean, I think Jim's going to agree with me here. This offense is special, and they seem to be peaking at the right time. And it's not just Vladdy Jr. running the show, which he easily could have, the numbers he put up. But guys like Ernie Clement and Dalton Varsho, Nathan Lucas, names you weren't expecting to hear. Their 5 through 9 hitters hit 351 in the 4 games. I mean, this is 1 through 9, relentless at bats. And they faced strikeout guys in Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Cam Schlittler, even though with his little bit of experience in the big leagues as a strikeout guy, shown to be a really good outing against the Red Sox where he punched a bunch of tickets. They just do such a good job of putting the ball in play. It's a lost art in today's game mixed with some power, and they're doing that all without Bo Bichette. So curious to see what that roster looks like when it comes out in a couple days.
So Toronto won 4 of the 6 games head-to-head this year. During the season, the Toronto Blue Jays scored 32 more runs than Seattle did. Although the Mariners hit more home runs by 47 and almost 100 more stolen bases. And on the year, they actually had a lower ERA than Toronto did. I think what really stood out with Toronto in their victory over the Yankees in that series was the fact that Will Middlebrooks just brought up, which is they put the ball in play, they don't strike out. And so how they're going to do against the Seattle great pitching, which I think is phenomenal, is going to be very interesting. The other thing about Toronto that doesn't get talked about enough, this is the best defensive team in the American League. And when they have their right guys at each position, they have a plus defender at every single position here. They're expecting to get Chris Bassett back for this series. I don't think they're going to get Bo Bichette back, but we're waiting to hear about that in a little bit. But this is a team that's red hot in a really good place, and they're going to be well rested for Game 1 on Sunday, where Seattle is going to be exhausted come Sunday. But I'm looking forward to this series. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
Will, having been in a situation like this yourself as a player, what's that turnaround like? I mean, you're going to feel the momentum, right? If you're Seattle, you're going to feel that rush, the adrenaline. And baseball's an everyday sport. So,
yeah.
You know, you kind of just play every day. You get a day off. Now, Toronto's been sitting for a couple days. So how much of a factor might that be for Seattle coming into Toronto?
Well, that's a long flight, too. Let's not forget about that. And the time change, and you're dealing with that's a real thing, especially at this point in the season when fatigue is really set in, but adrenaline takes over. I mean, this is the postseason. You're going into a series with a chance to go to the World Series. That's good. That's the main thing here. Is none of all the innings you've played, all the nicks and bruises and pulled hamstring, all that's off the table. All you can think about right now, these guys have already turned the page and they are starting to prepare for the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm with Jim. I'm so fired up for this series. It's the first one since 2016 where it's not the Yankees or the Astros. So I'm getting some new blood in there.
All right. Well, the new blood, as you just mentioned, one of the new blood. Trey Savage, Jim. This kid's splitter is, I don't know if you can even see it, and he's never seen the Mariners in a game, and he's going to probably pitch Game 2 with Kevin Gausman going in Game 1. What are the Mariners up against this? This is another postseason darling here in Trey Savage.
Yeah, I mean, look, this kid's dominant. I mean, he's going to pitch Game 2 in all probability for a reason. You know, he's the second best starter they have after Kevin Gausman, and the stuff is real. So they're going to have their hands full. There's no question about it. Now, you watch Seattle, what they're going to have to do with him is the same thing they did tonight with Skubal, which is grind the at-bats. You got to make him throw strikes. You can't chase that splitter out of the strike zone. It's hard to do because it breaks so late. You got to take the pitches. You got to work the count. They got Skubal out of the game after 6 innings. That's a job well done. They got his pitch count up to 98. They're going to have to do the same thing against him if they want to have success against him, because he does get a lot of strikes out of the zone. You got to make him live in the strike zone with that splitter.
Vladdy Jr. signed that massive deal just after the season started. He was incredible against the Yankees, had an RBI in every game of the series. His OPS was ridiculous. It was over 1,600. His first career ALCS, Cal Raleigh's first career ALCS. I mean, this is a matchup of titans in terms of guys that are going to hit long balls, right? Vladdy, Cal, Gino Suarez, if he can get going. Like, we could have some fireworks in this series, Will. We know about the Blue Jays putting the ball in play. Who are you calling on in the Mariners roster to step it up here in the ALCS?
I mean, Julio Rodriguez has got to get going. Eugenio Suarez has got to get going. These big bats in the middle of the lineup, they have to produce, they have to slug, they have to find ways to score runs to keep up with Toronto. And it's going to be hard because and this is also something we haven't given much love to is John Schneider, and he's been exceptional with the Toronto bullpen usage. And it seems like he has the perfect matchup for the perfect pocket. It's just in every high leverage spot. He used 8 arms in Game 4 against the Yankees, and they seemed like every one of them matched up well, and everything was beneficial to each individual's arsenal. So Seattle, to your point, they do have to get a lot of guys going. They have issues scoring runs. They have been a lot better this year. Obviously, the guys they added at the trade deadline help out there, but they're going to have to score runs to keep up with this Blue Jays team.
All right, so the odds have the Blue Jays as the favorites, but not by much here, Jim. Toronto's a slight favorite at -114. This is a virtual pick 'em when you talk about the series. Who do you have getting to the World Series and representing the American League?
Yeah, I'm going to stay consistent, right? Before the postseason started, I predicted the Mariners would get to the World Series and win the World Series, and I'm just going to double down. I'm going to stick with that prediction. I think they have a lot of work to do. I think it's going to be a tough road going through Toronto. I think Toronto has been playing better baseball. I thought they had a better series against the Yankees, but this is a new series, and I'm going to stick with my prediction that this is the year that the Seattle Mariners finally get to their first World Series. And I say somehow, some way, in 7 games, they figure out a way to walk it off just like they did tonight.
Wow.
Well, this is a tough one for me because I really like the Toronto offense. I think they play a style of baseball which is rare in today's game, which is power, it's contact, it's speed, it's athletic. The kicker for me here is, does Seattle get Brian Wu back? Because if that's the case, their rotation looks completely different. Does Toronto get Chris Bassett back, and which adds length to them as well? If I'm going to lean Toronto here, I'm going with the hot offense in this game. I think the arms they saw in New York and the Max Fried and the Rodons and the Bednar, those guys, they were able to handle and have good at-bats against and still score runs. I'm going to go Toronto here.
Well, good news for the Mariners. They are hopeful that they will get Brian Wu back. His availability is a huge topic in this series. Should they get him back, that would be massive for the Mariners. This is going to be one heck of an ALCS. It gets going on Sunday from Toronto. Will Middlebrooks and Jim Bowden here with us on CBS Sports HQ. Men, thank you. And, man, we are going to enjoy this postseason as it rolls on. As you take a look at the odds to win the World Series, Dodgers are the favorites to run it back, followed by the Blue Jays and Mariners at +330. You heard Jim mention Seattle, the only franchise in MLB history to have never played in a World Series. One of 5 teams to never won a World Series, of course. The other 4, the Brewers, the Padres, the Rockies, and the Rays. The Brewers, they've got a shot. They play a winner-take-all on Saturday night.